This book is in the First Start biography series, and it's called Young Thomas Edison, the Great Inventor. It's written by Claire Nemes and illustrated by John Himmelman. Thomas Edison was a great inventor. He made new machines that helped people. He invented the first electric light, the first phonograph, and many other things. Thomas was born in Milan, Ohio on February 11, 1847. His parents came to Ohio from Canada. Thomas was their youngest son. His full name was Thomas Alva Edison, but his parents called him Al. Milan was a small town, but visitors came all the time. Some were farmers. Sometimes wagon trains would stop in Milan on their way out west. Al loved talking to the people passing through. He learned from them. When Al was 7 years old, his family moved to Michigan. Al started going to school, but school was boring. Al wanted to learn more, so he asked a lot of questions. So many questions sometimes made the teachers angry. Al left school after only 3 months. His mother gave him lessons at home. Al wanted to know about everything. Sometimes his mother did not have the answers. He found many of the answers in books, but books did not have all the answers. So Al began to experiment and try things for himself. When Al was not studying, he was working. For 3 summers, Al sold fruits and vegetables with a friend. One summer, he earned $600. That was a lot of money in those days. When he was only 12 years old, Al began to work as a train boy for the railway. He sold newspapers and candy on the train. Al even printed his own newspaper on the train. He also set up a laboratory there, a place to try scientific tests or experiments. One day, while he was trying an experiment, he almost set the whole train on fire. His boss got very angry. After that, Al had to sell newspapers at railway stations, not on the trains. While he worked on the railway, Al learned how to use the telegraph. This machine allowed people to send messages to faraway places. From the time he was a boy, Al had problems with his hearing. But he did not need to hear well to use the telegraph. The messages were printed in Morse code on strips of paper. Al had no trouble reading the code. Al decided to become a telegrapher. He sent and read messages from all over. His job took him to the South, Canada, and New England. The telegraph became more and more popular. Al wanted to find ways to make the telegraph work better. He invented a telegraph that could send 2 messages on the same wire at the same time. And he invented a machine that printed telegraph messages in letters instead of Morse code. Al decided to make other machines better and easier to use. He also wanted to make new machines. He became an inventor. Al made the typewriter easier to use. He also made the telephone work better. And he found a way to make motion pictures that people could watch. He invented the phonograph, too. In 1879, Al tried his biggest experiment. He wanted to send electric power to a glass bulb and make it light up. But he needed to put something in the bulb that would glow for a long time. He thought and thought until he found just the right thing. He put a special metal thread in a bulb and lit it. He looked at it the next day. It was still glowing. Al had invented the electric light. The next step for Al was to open a power station in New York. Now he could bring thousands of lights to the city. Thomas Edison kept inventing until he died on October 18, 1931. During his life, Edison created more than 1,000 inventions. He did thousands and thousands of experiments in his lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey. He became very famous. People called him the Wizard of Menlo Park. Other scientists might have tried to make things work by using math and drawing plans. They would try to find the answers without experimenting. But not Edison. Just as he did when he was a boy, Edison loved to find things out for himself. He would try again and again until he made things work. For one invention, Edison tried about 10,000 experiments. A friend told him not to feel bad about failing. Edison said, "Well, I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." It's a good thing he loved to experiment. Edison made his inventions work because he never gave up. And the things he invented have brightened our lives in so many ways.